We all know that business as usual is a very certain path towards a very uncertain future. And company law is at the heart of this, not because of what company law says, but because of the way that company law has allowed the social norm of shareholder primacy to dominate. In this presentation, I will explain what the problem is and how we in the SMART project propose to do something about that. In the Sustainable Companies project, we investigated company law across jurisdictions, and we found that company law permits boards, the decision makers in businesses, to shift the business over onto a sustainable path. But they don't do that because of this social norm of shareholder primacy, this false perception that they have a legal duty to maximize returns for investors. In the SMART project, we investigated this further, not only concentrating on companies, but also on investors and on the role of the public sector as a market actor. And we found again that at the heart of the unsustainability of business and finance is this social norm of shareholder primacy. When I say that the social norm of shareholder primacy is the problem, that is a short form for a complex mix of economic incentives and market pressures. So what we then need to do is that we need to have company law take back the power of defining what the purpose of the company is. It has never been the intention of legislators around the world that companies only should focus on maximizing returns for shareholders. So we need company law to redefine the purpose of the company, to set out clearly what the duties of the board are, and to show us what counts, and that what counts goes far beyond returns for investors. And we need to do this in a way that responds to the grand challenge of our time. We speak generally about sustainability, but what sustainability means is, first of all, staying within the planetary boundaries. And as we see on the slide with the red sections outside of the illustration of the planetary boundaries, we are already going far beyond those ecological limits that are necessary to stay within if we are going to have a relatively safe space for humanity on this planet. And our grand challenge is not only staying within the planetary boundaries, it's also about securing the social foundation for humanity. We think it's important to actually integrate the concept of planetary boundaries into a company law reform, because it firstly shows that there are actually ecological limits, and conversely, that being environmentally friendly is not sufficient. Secondly, it shows that it's about more than climate change. Climate change is one of the great challenges of our time, but not the only one. Biodiversity loss and novel entities that we are putting into nature, whether it's microplastics or nanomaterials or various forms of chemical pollution, is also a great threat to our safe space on this planet. And thirdly, integrating the concept of planetary boundaries into company law shows that we must include the work in progress, state-of-the-art knowledge of natural sciences into decisions that we make about how we run businesses. But it's not just about the planetary boundaries, it's also about securing the social foundation. And we see in these red sections within the figure how far we are away from securing basic rights for humanity, so that humanity now and in the future can prosper. This is about securing human rights, and it's about securing decent work for everybody. It's about issues like living wages, like about mitigating child labor and modern slavery. And it's also about securing the most vulnerable amongst us. It's about giving all the children of the world a possibility to have a good future. Based on this, we suggest that company law redefines the purpose of the corporation and makes clear that it is about creating value and not just about returns for shareholders. It's about creating value in a sustainable way within planetary boundaries. and to ensure that that doesn't just become another goal that is the basis for box ticking and for greenwashing. We also need to redefine the duties of the board. We in the SMART project have a detailed proposal on how to do that, which we can summarize in 3 points. First of all, we must demand that the boards commit to this overarching purpose of securing sustainable value creation within planetary boundaries. And secondly, it's about integration. It's not about box ticking, it's not about reporting, which we know hasn't worked on its own. It's about integrating the aim of sustainable value creation within planetary boundaries throughout all the systems of the business. And I say business instead of company on purpose, because it's not about the single legal entity. It's about the whole business that that company is involved in, which more often than not includes global value chains. And then thirdly, we need external assurance that what the company says it is doing is actually what it is doing. Because it's time that we take as seriously people and the environment as we do financial issues. Usually I don't include a photograph on my last slide, but this time I have done it. And this photo reminds me of my youngest daughter when she was little. I could have included a picture of my youngest daughter instead, but I'm not doing that because I don't want to be private, but I do want to be personal. Because this is what it's about. It's about securing the social foundation for humanity within planetary boundaries. It's about ensuring that we have a safe and just space for humanity now and in the future. And ensuring that this little girl, whoever she is and wherever she is, if she wants to continue dancing, that she can do so. Thank you.